One, two, 1, 2.
Vominicious. He said everybody call him vominicious. It's all right for me to call him that. Like, no, man, his name's CJ. He's saying you can call me by my initials. That's what he's talking about. My cousin Prince, he talking faster than him. He gonna walk up and introduce himself, Jack.
All right, shalom, Israel. If y'all can like and share the class, let everybody know we live. So like, let me put that up there. If I get y'all like and share the class, let everybody know we live. All right, shalom, Israel. You're on live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, Priest and Officer, Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have classes live here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Your brothers and sisters out there, if you're in the Memphis, Tennessee and surrounding areas, the school address is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Call-in number for the school is 901-249-0085. If you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, man, get us in contact with us here at the ISUPK. And we provide all the services that are necessary for the survival and for the advancement of God's chosen people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. So, again, if you got people you love and you care about, man, get them in contact with us here at the school. If I could have brothers and sisters going forward to start searching ISUPK Memphis on your Google Maps devices. If you got Google on your cell phone, just once a week, twice a week, just search ISUPK Memphis and try to get the directions. It'll help grow, the standing of the school on that Google app. You know what I'm saying? And it'll help increase our presence. So if I could get brothers and sisters to start searching for the school, like I said, the calling number is 901-249-0085. The address 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we have classes from 6 to 8. All right. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2023, there's nothing more important than for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. Where do you find that information? That information is contained in this book called the Bible. So every day with these classes, we take some time to go into the Bible to gain the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Most High has put here for us to be able to receive in this time so that we can come back to being the people that he called us to be and to prosper and live the lives that he destined for us from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And that's a very heavy statement, really for any so-called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian that desires or has ambitions to really live a higher existence than the one that we've been offered here on this earth and by the society that we're living in. I remember being young, man, growing up and wondering to myself, how could I escape the it seemed like the predestined ending that was written for black men in this world. I remember being young, man, growing up, and I was about 6 or 7 years old. I remember I was real young, but I remember watching the movie Menace to Society, and I remember at the end of Menace to Society, it's hope for Cain that he's gonna be able to escape the hood and to be able to put all the dirt he did behind him and to be able to have a new start with the broad and her son, and they going to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? They're packing up the car, and the brother who was the black power cat whose father was upright man was trying to get them to leave Compton and leave the hood and get away from the projects. And I remember at the end of Minister Society when he got gunned down trying to save the little boy. It was like, damn, Cain didn't make it out the hood. And then I think around the same time, or maybe it was a few years later, the movie Malcolm X came out. The X movie came out. And I remember that Malcolm X movie, man, had a real impact on me as a child because I had not, during that time in the early 90s, man, there was no black power movement. There was no organization or any gathering of black men where you could really see black men being strong and empowered and not high, not on drugs, not killing, not scheming. Like watching that Malcolm X movie, and I remember looking at the Muslims and how they was moving. It was like, damn, that must have been an amazing time to be black. You know what I'm saying? Must have been an amazing time to be black and to see strong black men standing up and being powerful and talking down on the oppressor and talking about, black people being great and being amazing. And I remember feeling like, man, I'll never see nothing like that in my lifetime. I wish I was born back then so I knew what it was like. I had a grandfather, man, who was one of them proud to be black men. You know what I'm saying, man? My grandfather was intelligent. He spoke 7 languages and played the saxophone and wrote poetry and was just could really speak well. And I remember, my grandfather wrote a book, and I remember just at that time, like, dang, he came up in the golden era of blackness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason why he's so proud and upstanding and dignified. He came up in the time when it was a dignified thing to be black, and I just remember feeling hopeless when I remember the end of Malcolm X movie when they murdered the nigga. It was just like what happened to Cain in Menace to Society. And it was like, damn, man, no matter what I do, if I'm in the streets and try to get away, or if I choose the righteous path and I serve God and try to uplift my people, either way, your life ends in a hell of gunfire. And I just remember being sad, man, like, damn, that sucks. Like, how am I supposed to get out? How am I supposed to escape that cycle? And man, to grow up in the environment that I grew up in and to see the things that I saw as a young man and then as a teenager and then as a young adult, finding the truth, man, really, the hope that I had, I don't even want to use hope. The chance to not end up like Cain or Malcolm X wasn't real to me until I came into the truth, until I learned the truth. And so I know there's brothers and sisters out there who have a similar experience or who have that same hopelessness, who look at their life every day and just say, God damn, man, is this it? Getting up, going to some job that pays me just enough to be able to pay my bills and maybe take a vacation, maybe have enough money to get a little nice something just to be able to, just to have to go back to work and do it all over again. Like, is this really what life is about? Is this really why I'm put down here? I know cats, I remember being young, listening to music, and the rap music is no different than what it is today. It was just as raunchy and just as bad and just as a horrible influence as it is today. But I remember for every gangster rap CD that I used to buy and listen to, there would always be like one song where they just kept it real. One song where you would hear a nigga, not the rapper speak, but the man behind the rapper. You know what I'm saying? You would hear him talking, him speaking what he really felt. And I remember there's a song, a rapper named Pimp C from UGK, man. He had a song where he said, I know God ain't put me down here just to be serving no fiends. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's real, man. You out here in the streets and you hustling and you doing what you got to do. But it's like, man, God ain't put me down here just to be serving no fiends. Like you could be living a good life and have money and have women and have all of the things that you're supposed to make you feel good. But at the end of the day, you're like, man, it's got to be more to life. Well, for those brothers and sisters who arrive at that place and have that thought, that's why that's why the truth is here. The truth is here to give you the answer to why did God put me down here? Surely God didn't put me down here just to be chasing a piece of cheese in this goddamn maze that society has established for us. The only way to find your way out of that maze, man, is in the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana. And I thank the Most High for it every day. And that's why we have these classes. Give brothers and sisters an opportunity to really find what it is that God put you down here for and how it is that you can find fulfillment even in this cruel, evil, cold world that we live in. All right. So again, if you got family, loved ones, people you care about, man, get them in contact with the ISUPK. Tonight we're going to talk about seeking peace in times of war. We'll go over some scriptures that explains how to seek peace. And it's important to understand that for yourself individually because we all go through difficult times. We're all fighting a war, and it's a war that is spiritual, but the brotherhood that Christ gave us allows us to be able to not fight each other, but fighting your individual battles, it's still something that you have to go through. Like you still have to fight your battle. You still have to overcome your obstacles. And sometimes in the midst of going through your difficult times, it can be difficult. It can be hard to find peace. It can be hard to find purpose. It can be hard to find a reason to continue to push forward and continue to fight. And that's what this class is about. Everybody understands. So if any brothers and sisters have any questions, y'all can type them in. If you don't have any questions, we're going to go ahead and get into the topic of tonight's class. All right. All right. All right. First scripture we're going to go to is 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. All right. But at 11, we're going to go to verse 8. All right. All right, we're going to go to 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. We're going to start at verse 8. We're going to read on down to We'll read on down, all right? Hold up. All right, this 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. It says, finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful, be courteous. All right. This is talking about how we deal with one another. All right. Be ye all of one mind. What is the one mind? Focused on one goal, man, which is the kingdom of heaven. Focused on raising up God's people, restoring us back to the culture and the heritage that the Most High gave to us from the beginning. Having compassion one of another. Why do we need to have compassion on one another? Because on this journey, on this path to the kingdom, there's going to be a lot of turbulent times. It's going to be a lot of stumbling blocks in the way. It's going to be a lot of hazardous and a lot of turmoil. And so when you see a brother or a sister struggling or going through it, have compassion towards them. Don't be angry. Don't be fed up. Don't be dismissive. Be like the Most High. Be long suffering. Be patient. Be kind. Everybody understands. Love as brethren. What does that mean? Be lawful towards one another. Keep the laws. You understand? This having compassion and love as brethren is not talking about allowing yourself to be abused by a sinner. It's not talking about allowing somebody who is an evildoer to walk all over you. This is talking about dealing with brothers and sisters who are on the same path as you. Brothers and sisters who are striving to serve the Most High. A lot of times in our life, we create our own hell. Or we put ourselves in positions that make our walk difficult because we're allowing sinners to get in the way of us serving the Most High. That is not what God called you to do. You read the scriptures and you read about our King Yahushua. Yahushua never put himself in a position where sinners could make his life more difficult. Christ did not hang with the sinners who wanted to continue to sin. He went to the people who wanted to stop sinning but didn't know how, didn't have anyone to show them. Just like we go out here in these streets today, man, we go out here to speak to our people, hoping to find the ones who want to serve the Most High. But when we go out here on the street and we speak, we encounter a lot of people who don't want to hear what we have to say, who don't want to change their lives, who don't want to serve the Most High. And no problem. We don't allow them to make our job any more difficult. We don't go chase them down the block and fight and argue with them and try to convince them to come into the truth. No, we're not out there for those who want to stay in their sin. We out there for the brothers and sisters who look to the Christian pastor for righteousness, that look to the entertainers and the rappers for righteousness, that look to their elected officials for righteousness. Though there are a lot of our people who want to do right. They're just looking at the wrong people to lead them. So we go out on the street to show them that here are your righteous leaders. Here are the men you should be following and should be mimicking and should be emulating. It's us because we're the ones that serving the Lord. But the people that don't want to do what we do, we don't bother with them. We don't beat our heads against the wall and kick against the pricks or fight against the arm of God. We read in class last week that Christ said he spoke in parables on purpose because there were some people he just did not want to get it. That's the God we serve. You should not be putting your life on the line for somebody who does not want to serve the Most High. So when the Bible here in 1 Peter 3 and 8 speaks of having compassion one of another, love as brethren, speaking to those who know the truth, who've chosen to serve the Most High. Somebody chooses not to serve the Most High, then you have to let them suffer the consequences of that choice. Continuing on. 1 Peter chapter 3, middle of verse 8. Love as brethren. Be pitiful, be courteous. Meaning what? Be full of pity. You should feel bad for somebody who's trying to get it right and they can't. Somebody who wants to do good, but they continue to make mistakes and continue to mess up. You shouldn't look at them like they a piece of shit, excuse my language, or there's some F up, or they just somebody that can't get right. You should feel for them, man. Pray for them and ask the Lord to give them the strength they need to clean themselves up. Ask the Most High to help them to be better, to be able to see what they're capable of being. But don't look at somebody like, oh man, they ain't shit, F them. Because the Most High didn't do that to you in your times when you was uh, refusing to get right. In your times when you chose to continue to sin and continue to mess up rather than get it together. The Lord didn't say, oh, he a piece of shit. Don't even worry about him. I ain't even going to bother with him no more. Nah, the Most High had pity on you. And so you should extend that same pity to someone who, again, is trying to do what the Most High said to do. Verse 9, not rendering evil for evil. Don't render evil for evil, man. Somebody do something evil to you, take account of it. Tell them that they wrong for what they did, but don't seek revenge. Don't seek to get back at them. Or railing for railing. Somebody go off and say something sideways to you, say something that they ain't supposed to say. Don't go off and you tit for tat say something horrible to them. Nah, you don't repay evil for evil or railing for railing. But contrary-wise, blessing. Rather, you should bless them. Somebody go off on you, man, and they wrong. No sweat, man. It's all good, man. I'm gonna pray for you, man. Lord be with you. I ain't got nothing to say to you. You understand? Why? Why should you not render evil for evil or railing for railing? Knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing. Meaning what? You should know that somebody's trying to do evil to you. Somebody's railing against you, and all you doing is serving the Most High. Then you should know that that railing and that evil is going to bring you a blessing. I've been in the truth, man, for some time, and in all my time of being in the truth, anyone who ever set out to do something against the truth, it always fell on their head. Because you can't do nothing against the truth, because the truth belongs to the Most High. You cannot harm a righteous man. You can't bring shame to a righteous man, because only the Lord can do something like that. So when anyone endeavors to go against the truth or to go against a man who's right with the Lord, you're going to fail every time. And if you are that man who is right with the Most High, or that woman that's right with the Most High, somebody doing evil to you, man, you put it in the Most High's hands. What can be worse than what God will do to someone? Nothing I can say or nothing I can do can top the Most High. So I won't seek revenge. I won't seek to get back. I'll just, Shalom, Lord be with you, and let the Most High be the one that hands out the judgment. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Most High are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Most High is against them that do evil. Everybody understands? The Most High is with those who are righteous. He hears their prayers. And if you've given your life to the Most High, then you know that this scripture is true. If you've really given your life, if you're someone who don't understand this scripture, then you should be repenting. You should be seeking the Most High's righteousness so that he will forgive you and extend to you his mercy and his grace. If you can't understand this scripture, then maybe you have not attained that place with the Most High where he hears your prayers and he answers them. But I highly doubt that anybody could say that they don't understand this, because all of us are in the truth because the Lord allowed us to escape some impossibly horrible life. You understand? I say this all the time to brothers and sisters in the truth. None of us are in here because we were whole and perfect and wonderful in the world. No, the Bible, Christ said he came for the maimed and the sick and the crippled and the blind. That's us. We the people in society who couldn't get it right. We were the people that didn't fit into this world. We were the people that had the mental health problems and the instability issues, and a lot of other problems with the way the world functioned. It's funny to say that because I remember being in the world. I thought that I had it all together. I was a complete person. You know what I'm saying? I remember growing up, I knew cats that was crazy and had behavioral issues and had attention deficit disorders and stuff like that. And I always said to myself, like, hey man, it's horrible to be one of them, or it's messed up to be like that. But as I've grown and gotten older, man, I look back on my life and I realized there was a lot of stuff that I could have did that I didn't do because I wasn't right. There's a lot of emotional instability that I dealt with in my teenage years that as I went through it, I just thought I was good, but really I wasn't. Hell, I might have needed to go see a doctor, might have needed to get some of that medicine. You understand? But I didn't. And there was a reason why my life was the way it was before I came into the truth. Even after coming into the truth, there was some unresolved issues that I should have got dealt with, that I should have went to counsel and gotten help with. But I didn't. And I'm right exactly where the Lord required for me to be. So I don't have any regrets, but I could not sit here and tell you that I'm perfect. Sit here and tell you that I've never needed no help and that I got it all together. Nah, I'm one of them people that desperately needed the truth because I could not make it in the world. The Most High made it so that I couldn't make it in the world. He made it so that I needed him to heal me and to help me and to pick me up and to hold me and to show me which way to go. And that's all of us. And so if you've made it into the truth under those circumstances, then you know what it's like for the Most High to answer your prayers. You know what it's like for the Most High to watch out for you and to keep you from hell, prison, or death, or drug addiction. And if you're in the midst of those things now, continue to serve the Lord, man, and he'll show you that he's real. All right. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 13 says, and who is he that will harm you if ye be followers of that which is good? And that's it, man. Who can harm you if you are followers of that which is good? If you do what the Most High said to do, then you have the peace you need. You'll be able to endure anything that comes your way because you'll face it knowing the Lord is with me. So what's the worst that could happen? How bad could it possibly be? Yeah, that doesn't mean it's not going to be bad. It's not going to mean it's not going to be difficult. But damn, the Lord with me, so who cares? However hard it is, however difficult it is, I'm going to get through it because the highest power is with me. And that's what you learn when you come into the truth and you learn the Bible, read the Bible the way that it was meant for us to receive it. When you learn to read the Bible for how to apply it to your life, you begin to see yourself through the prophets. You begin to see yourself through these people that we read about in this Bible. When I read the book of Daniel, when I read the book of Ezekiel, when I read about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when I read about Mordecai, you know what I'm saying? When I read about the sister and her sons in the book of the Maccabees, I don't read it like, damn, man, these people was dope. I read it like, damn, that's me. What would I do in that situation? How would I fare in under those circumstances? And because I see them as myself, when my time comes for my difficult, when my time comes for me to overcome my obstacles, when the time comes for me to be able to get over my hurdles, man, I can do it. Because what choice do I have? How could I fail knowing that Mordecai didn't fail? How could I fail knowing that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went into the fire and came out untouched? How could I fail knowing that our king asked the Most High to let this cup pass from him? But if it be your will, then help me to get through it. Come on, man. When you understand those things, you can't. What's going to beat you? What's going to defeat you? Yeah, it doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. Doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult. Doesn't mean it's not going to take everything in your power to get through what you have to go through. But I mean, what are you really going through if you know that the Lord is with you? All right. Let's keep reading in 1 Peter 3. 1 Peter 3 and 14. But, and if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled, but sanctify the most high power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear, having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good conversation in Christ. For it is better, if the will of God be so, that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. Everybody understands? That's heavy. Like, this is what you need to grant you peace in the time of war. This is what you need to get through those times when you are spirit is weak and your knees are feeble. We're gonna go and get some of those scriptures next. But this was heavy. All right. See something? That was 15. That was heavy. So let's drop that. Let me get hold up. All right, this is a lot. I'm not gonna read this one. I was gonna go to Isaiah 35, but it's a lot. That's very meat. It's a real heavy for me to have to break that down. All right. Hold up. All right, let's jump that. Let's get hold on. Hold on. Bear with me. Hold up. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. First Corinthians chapter 4, verse 33. 14:33. Salaki. Let's go ahead and read that. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. says, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace." You understand? The Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. Meaning what? The Most High is the author of peace. That is what He wants for all of us in our lives. That is what He has written for us, is for us to have peace. Which means what? If you don't have peace in your life, then you should be seeking more of the Most High. If you don't have peace in your life, then you should be paying attention to who's the author of the situation you're in. Who has written what it is that you are going through if it's not the Most High. You understand? It's one thing to be in the midst of warfare, in the midst of a battle. That's one fight on its own. But then there's another battle that you could be in, and you don't even know what the hell is going on, and what am I doing here? That's confusion. You understand? And that is not anything that the Most High has designed for us. You should never be in any situation in life where you are confused about what's going on, where you don't know what's happening. How did I get here? Why is this happening? That is not something that the Most High has designed for us. You understand? Like, that is not of the spirit of the Most High. It's to be confounded and to be confused. You understand? Let's get Psalm 69 and 6. All right. This is a good scripture for this. Is a good scripture for somebody who's going through it, who's in the midst of a hard time in their life. All right. But for right now, we're gonna read these two verses. The Psalms, the 69th chapter, is a very good chapter to read anytime you in the midst of, going through a storm. All right. The Psalm 69, verse 5. And it reads, "O God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are hid not from thee." Everybody understand? This is what? This is someone who is acknowledging their wrongdoing, is admitting, I ain't perfect. I have sinned. I messed up. And I know that you know it. I can't hide that from you. This is what Christ meant when he talked about praying in the closet. And he talked about praying in private and in secret. There are things that we are willing to acknowledge before the Most High that oftentimes we're not willing to acknowledge before anyone else. I know as a man, as a husband, there's things that I can acknowledge before the Most High that I would pray that He would never have me to acknowledge before a wife of mine. You understand? I know there's things as parents that you pray to the Most High for your children that you would never hope for your children to know that this is something you had to pray for. Like, there's your conversations with the Most High need to be between you and the Most High, because there's no one else that you can give these things to. That's why the whole praying, the praying in church used to always bother me, because it's like, nigga, that's not how I talk to God. I remember being young. Even the dinner prayers and anytime anybody was praying publicly out loud, I never could feel it. It was always like, nigga, for real. Your prayers, man, it's your vulnerabilities and your insecurities and your fears, they belong to you. And this is particularly for the men, for you brothers, for you priests out there. Your woman and your children and your family does not need to know what it is that you are going through. They don't need to be privy to all of your vulnerabilities and all of your weaknesses and all of your the chinks in your armor. There's a lot of women out here, man. They need their man to be a superhero. They need to look at you and say, man, this cat's solid and he's strong and he got it all together all the time. He know what to do. Anytime I ask him for anything, he got the answer. And they deserve that. Even if you are in the midst of the worst point, the lowest point in your life, brother, you shouldn't give that to your woman. It's too much for her to bear. You shouldn't put that on the shoulders of your son because he shouldn't have to feel like he got to be a man for his father. And there's certain things that as men, we have to suffer. We have to take it on because that is what we were chosen for. And that, man, it's sad. We living in a time where if it wasn't for the truth, that kind of man would be gone out of the earth, man. God damn, I remember growing up, my grandfather, I was still young, but I never saw my grandfather cry. I never saw him, defeated or weak. Hell, my grandfather had a stroke when I was 9, 7, 8 years old. I used to get my grandfather up. There was times he lived with us. I used to get him up in the morning, man, and bathe him, help change him and stuff like that when he used the bathroom. And there was never a time where he appeared weak to me. There was never a time where I felt like, he was a goddamn wasn't a man. I seen that in my uncles growing up. But in today's society, like, and I say that to say that I grew up in a culture of, masculinity, a culture of men being men. And I said this is before in class. I was never told that I couldn't cry, but I was told that nobody should ever see you cry. And that's a big difference, man. I'm thankful to have been raised by men because it gave me an awareness of what it meant to be a man. But I've known a lot of, I've heard a lot of stories of men that said they was told they could never cry. So they grew up, hiding their emotions and not dealing with their emotions and all of the nonsense that comes from that. But you grow up. A lot of us grew up in harsh environments, grew up in environments where we didn't have any men there to teach us the right way to be. And so we had women who thought they were teaching us to be tough and teaching us to be men, but were really teaching us to really hate them for their ability to be emotional, to be open, and to be able to express themselves. And so when you grow up as a man who's been taught to shut off your emotions all your life, and then you come in the truth and you learn, brother, you got emotions. Ain't nothing wrong with your emotions, but you can't act on them. You can't be emotional. The world would tell you that you can show emotion and you can be emotional and you can let it out and you must express yourself and don't be afraid to talk and to speak your truth, nigga. That's how you're going to lose a woman. That's how you're going to have children who don't respect you and don't acknowledge your authority. It's how you're going to have sons who want to grow up and be goddamn girls in dresses, and you'll have daughters who want to grow up and be a man or get with a man who they can treat like a woman. It's unspeakable evils going on in this world right now. Unimaginable horrors that men are subjecting themselves to just in life in general, but in relationships and in the bedroom. And there's all manner of unspeakable horrors that are going on because there's no men to establish what is right and what is honorable and what is dignified. You understand? And it comes from not knowing that certain things only belong to God. I had to bring it back full circle. Remember why I even started talking about this bull, why I went down that whole path. The whole reason why I went down that path is because there are certain things that are only reserved for the Most High. And as a man, you have to know that these fears and these insecurities and these weaknesses, you can only give them to God. You cannot lay them on your woman. You cannot lay them on your kids. You can lay them on your brothers. You can seek counsel. You understand? But seek counsel, not just, man, let me tell you how hard it is, brother, and then you crying to some brother. The brothers, we here for you. But you should be seeking answers, seeking help, not just seeking to vent. You want to vent, brother, go to the Lord. If you want to cry and you want somebody to just listen and not say nothing, you can call and get counsel for but the certain things belong to the Lord. And you got to give it to him so that he can deal with it. You understand? What we're reading about is a man who understands that, who understood that this moment, this time is reserved for God. And that's why he gave it to God. He wrote it down. It's important when you read the book of Psalms that these are songs and prayers. These were the outpourings of a man's spirit that he made public for the people to know it's okay to go to God this way. It's okay to give this to the Most High. And when you think about that, it just I was had a conversation a little earlier. A group of guys, we got this Cats in the World. We got a little text group that we in, and one of them was talking about how rap music is the only black culture that we have, and it was sad. I had to explain to them that that's not the only culture we get. That's the culture the oppressor has given to us. We got a whole culture that the earth follows or tries to follow, but they try to hide the fact that it's ours. The Bible, all morality and all human rights laws and all righteousness, it's our culture. That comes from us. This book of Psalms, these songs and these outpourings of a man's spirit in this time of trouble, this was our music. This was our culture. These words that people all over the planet go to find comfort and to find hope and to find inspiration, that comes from the spirit of Israelites. That comes from the heart of Israelites who in their darkest and toughest times turn to God. The earth owes that to us. Nobody else has given the earth this. The Buddhists, what is the Buddhist prayer? What is the Hindu prayer? What is the Christian prayer? What is the Muslim prayer for comfort and for safety and for reassurance? It doesn't exist. That is the exclusive domain of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, God's chosen people. Why? Because we're the only people who've ever talked to God, who've ever known to talk to God. Salakia. Let's read Psalm 69 and 5. O God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from thee. Verse 6, let not them that wait on thee, O most high power of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake. O power of Israel. Everybody understand? This was David praying to the Most High saying, don't let the people's spirit fail because of what I've done. Salakia. Don't let the people that wait on you be ashamed for my sake. Don't let the people be confounded for my sake, meaning because of what I did. David was a man whose sins were made public. Even the ones that were kept private, they ended up being made public. And David is saying, man, when the people find out about what I did, don't let those people who love you and who worship you and who serve you be confounded because of my mistakes. Don't let the people that wait on you be ashamed because of what I've done. And that's the burden that belongs to a man who has authority, a man who's in a position of power. I remember being young in the truth, man. Commander General Yohana, one of the reasons Commander General Yohana said he held on to the truth the way he did was when he was young in the truth, the men who were over him warned him that if they ever went off, if they ever started teaching something different, if they ever started to do anything different or outside of what they had taught him, not to follow them, not to go down the path that they were going down, but to hold on to the truth that was given to him. And he warned us that if he ever went off, if he ever started going left and started teaching a doctrine that was other than the one that he taught us and breaking down scriptures other than the way he taught us to break them down, that we are to not follow him down that path. that we are to stand strong and to hold on to what it is that he gave us. You cannot follow a man into unrighteousness and stand before the Most High on the day of judgment and say, but I was following him. That's not going to be an acceptable answer for why did you disobey me? Why did you dishonor me? Why did you teach another doctrine? And that's the scary thing, man, for men who live their life not serving the Most High. All the evil things, man, that I've heard being taught since I came into the truth outside of the ISUPK, I pray for them cats. It was cats teaching you could rape, that the king in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be raping women. That God wants us to rape in the kingdom. And I just remember thinking to myself, Lord be with that. Because what are you going to say to the Most High on the day of judgment if that is what you was teaching? What you going to say? He taught it to me. I'm following him. That's not an acceptable answer. The Bible says not to trust in man, but to trust in the Most High. So if you following him, if you've dedicated your life to some man, and that man decides that, or Satan decides that he's going to take that man's spirit away, and through taking that man's spirit away, he's going to cause everyone else to fall or fail. If you fail in that day, then ain't no excuses. You just prove Satan right. Couldn't be me. I pray the Lord, and it won't be me. I'm going to stand with the Most High regardless of anything. And I'm not turning my back on the truth that I was taught and the truth that we were commanded to hold down for anybody. Everybody understands. Keep reading. Psalm 69:7. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach. Shame has covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brothers and an alien unto my mother's children. Verse 9. For the zeal of thine house has eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me. When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. We can stop on that. Everybody understand? This was David praying in the time that he was down bad, asking the Most High not to take away, not to confound or to have shame fall on the people who were serving the Lord because of the shortcomings of David, a man who they all followed and pledged allegiance to. All right. Hold up. Hold up. We could drop that on the confounded. We could drop the confounded. Well, now let's get this. Let's get Isaiah 47:15. This is the original scripture I was looking for. Again, these scriptures is talking about trusting in the Most High and having faith in Him, and that because He's the author of, because He's not the author of confusion, we should have peace. All right. If there is any confusion, if you are confounded, it is because the Most High is not there. Everybody understands. Let's get Isaiah 45:15. All right. Verily, thou art a power that hidest thyself, O power of Israel, the Savior. Verse 16, they shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. So who's going to be ashamed and confounded? The people who worship false gods. People who celebrate Christmas and celebrate New Year's and going to celebrate Valentine's Day and Easter and St. Patrick's Day and 4th of July and Labor Day and Memorial Day, all of these days that the oppressor has given you and has given to these people, let them be ashamed, let them be confounded, because the things they believe in are vain, they aren't real, they don't exist. You understand? Isaiah 45:17. But Israel shall be saved in the Most High with an everlasting salvation. Israel is going to be saved. Not the whole earth, not the whole world. Israel, the world of Israel. Ye shall not be ashamed, nor confounded, world without end. Everybody understands. We should not be ashamed or confounded. So again, you in the midst of your dark times, you going through a storm, you should know why you're meaning not you should know why, because it's okay to say, why me? Why am I going through this? But you should know that it is the Lord that's doing it. And accept that it is the Lord that's doing it. And if you accept and acknowledge that it's the Most High that's doing it, and if you're serving him, then you can also accept and acknowledge, well, this can't be meant to destroy me. This can't be something that's going to drive me from the truth. It's going to have me turn my back on the Most High. Why? Because he's the one that's doing it. And he said that he would never give us more than we could handle. So if I know that the Most High is the one that's doing it, if I know that I'm serving him, and if I know that he promised that he would never leave nor forsake me, and that he would never give me more than I can handle, then what's stopping me from overcoming what I'm going through? What's stopping me from being able to push forward and get through it? Myself, my own fear, my own insecurities, my own weaknesses. It's not the Lord that's doing it. The Lord has not failed in his job at all at any time. But we do fail. We do fall short. We do have faith that's not even the size of a mustard seed. Because if we had that faith, then we would move mountains. We would overcome everything that's in our way. And again, man, when you come into the truth and you begin to understand the Bible, those words are heavy, man. Christ said if you had just the faith of a mustard seed, you would call a mountain to fall into the ocean and it would move. Just imagine that. I'm gonna go to that scripture next. I'm gonna go. We getting off the topic, but it don't matter. That's where we're going. We're gonna go there. You understand? Get Matthew chapter 17, verse 20. Let's go ahead and read. Let's read. This is Matthew chapter 17. We're gonna start at verse 14 and read on down to 21. All right. And again, this it's important for us to understand that when Christ spoke to his disciples, he didn't speak to them in parables. When he spoke to his disciples, he spoke to them very plainly. When he spoke to masses, he spoke in parables. But when he spoke with his disciples, he spoke very plainly. And that's how you can tell the difference between what's figurative language and what is literal language when it comes to the words of Christ. You understand? So we're going to read Matthew chapter 17. We're going to start at verse 14, all right? It says, and when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For oftentimes he falls into the fire and often into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. What is this speaking about? This is speaking about a man who has a demon on him who wants to kill him. Everybody understands? When he said that I have a son that is a lunatic, my son he's crazy. He's schizophrenic. He's bipolar. This is all the mental health illness that we deal with today. And understand this, man. The purpose, not the purpose. The end game of all of mental health complications in this society is for you to die. That is the battle that you are in with mental health illnesses. Depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, Hell, some of y'all have sleep paralysis. Some of you got multiple personality disorders. Some of you have anxiety. Some of you are you stress about everything. The point of all of that mental turmoil is to get you to give up. Is to get you to say, F it, I can't take it no more. I'm ending my life. Whether you're going to end your life with a bullet to the head, end your life driving in oncoming traffic, end your life smoking crack and weed, end your life overeating, end your life popping pills, end your life having random sex with random people for random reasons. The whole point of your mental health complication is for you to die. That is the battle you are in. The Bible talks about battling for your soul. And we are in 2023, supposedly the most advanced civilization that has ever been on the earth. We got the internet, we got cell phones, and all this technology. People don't know that Christmas is idol worship. People don't know that cutting out a tree and decorating it and nailing it down and putting lights on it and putting an angel on a star on the top and then singing Old Christmas Tree and putting gifts under it for your children to run to on December 25th to receive gifts from the tree and to be thankful for the tree is idol worship. Like, how could you not know in 2023? Because this society is not very advanced at all. In the same way, how could you not know that your mental health illness is something fighting to destroy your life? It's something in you that's trying to stop you from living the life God designed for you to have. How could we not know that? How could you not? Nowhere on the television, on the internet, anywhere besides an ISUPK is it being told to people, yeah, your bipolar disorder is a demon. Your schizophrenia is a demon. Your depression is a demon. You know, the only place I hear it being said besides in these classes is in movies. Man, for years, goddamn. There have been movies that have come. Okay, American Psycho. I don't know if anybody ever seen the movie American Psycho. American Psycho is about, man, it's about every white person on the earth. But this cat is an absolute blood-curdling murderer. He's an American Psycho. He's a murderer, a killer, hunting women down and slashing their throats and killing them. But he would be clinically diagnosed with multiple personality disorder. A movie like what's the movie, man? All right, man, the cat with all the different personalities. Split. It's a movie called Split about this guy who has a bunch of different personalities. He jumps from person to person. One guy has a British accent, and then there's a little girl that's 6 years old. And then there's a beast, a monster that's in there. All of them are inside this one guy. He would be clinically diagnosed with multiple personality disorder. But it's a demon. The movie The Exorcist, the girl with the spitting out the green and the head turning around and talking in different voices. Today, they would say that's, multiple personality disorder. How is it 2023 and we don't know that the voices in your head are demons? They are, even if you want to use the technical terminology, they are malevolent entities. The white, our oppressor got so much. He's confounded and hidden so much through language that sometimes you'll hear them talking about demons and angels and not even realize that's what they're talking about. Like, there's this cat, Joe Rogan, right? Does a podcast. Joe Rogan is a proponent of psychedelic. He's a proponent of everybody should have a psychedelic experience where you either eat mushrooms or you take DMT or you smoke ayahuasca, which is some leaf that grows in the down there in Peru in the mountains, and everybody should do these drugs and have an episode where you go and travel to some other place, and you go to this place and there's these beings there and they're benevolent and they speak to you and they talk to you and you don't really know what they're saying, but you know it's profound and it's life changing, and when you come back to this world you know that there's something greater. Nigga, they talking about going to see demons. They talking about smoking, getting high, and having conversations with demons. And who knows what the demons are telling them. But I have the Bible here. I don't have to smoke ayahuasca or take a DMT trip or eat mushrooms to know Satan is there waiting to talk to you, my nigga. I ain't got to do that. I don't have to go there. Because the Bible tells me about people that had demons and saw these entities. Nigga, if I don't need to take a DMT trip to want to know what the entities are saying. I can go to the mental health ward and find out what the schizophrenic is saying the voices are telling him. Because you and that nigga talking to the same people. But it's 2023 and we don't, because religion doesn't deal with the reality of the Bible, we don't even know that there's a connection to be made between what this book is saying and what they're trying to push on you in society. Like, it's just, nothing has changed. This stuff ain't brand new. It's the same stuff been going on for thousands of years. And the Bible tells us it's demons. But your oppressor would make it seem like we need to investigate more and study deeper into what the malevolent or the benevolent forces are saying when we take the DMT trip. White man, you are getting high and you are dealing with Satan. I don't need to get high and deal with Satan to know what the consequences and the end results are. I see it with my people today. It's 2023, man. I'm a Native American Indian. How dare I go get high smoking some herb from some tree in Peru when that's how the hell my people got conquered in the first place? Don't you know that the Gadites famous for their peace pipe? That was marijuana, man. They was getting high. Not only marijuana, who knows? They was smoking cocaine. This stuff ain't nothing new in the earth, man. Shit, excuse my language, it's been going on. And the Lord has been punishing us for it. That is what was going on with this brother here in the Bible. He had what would be classified today as a mental health illness. He's schizophrenic, bipolar, and because of it, he was always harming himself, falling into the fire, falling into the water. That falling into the water is he can't swim, but he's jumping in the pool. He can't swim and he's in the ocean. He's trying to drown himself. Everybody understands. We Matthew 17 and 14. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. Meaning he's really crazy. For oftentimes he falls into the fire, he burns himself. And oftentimes into the water, he tries to drown himself. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. I brought him to your disciples. They could not cure him. They could not get my son to stop trying to kill himself. Verse 17, and Yahushua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yahushua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. When it says that Yahushua rebuked the devil, what did he do? Now, of course, he had the power of God with him. But what did he do to rebuke the devil? When you read the Bible and you read about Christ rebuking devils and casting out demons, right? Now, casting out a demon is different than healing. Some people, Yahushua healed them, and that was power from the Lord. But when he rebuked the devil in someone, Sister Renard's on it, she said he corrected him. That's on it. Somebody give me a little bit more. What do you mean he corrected him? How did he correct him? I want you thinking about it. Think practically. How would you rebuke a devil today? There's a boy. who's trying to kill himself, trying to jump in the feast, burning himself, trying to drown himself. He's got issues. His parents trying to deal with him. They can't deal with him. They bring him to us here at the school. So I got this boy, man. I don't know what's going on with him. Sometimes he's falling into the fire. Sometimes he's falling into the water. I tried to bring him to your disciples, man. They wasn't able to really help him. Christ said, man, oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long am I going to be here with you? Bring him with, how long shall I suffer you? And bring the boy here. And said, Christ rebuked the devil out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. You understand? Sister Renee said he checked him. You want it? Christ talked to the devil in the boy, talked to the demon. See, sometimes people got demons, man, and we coddle them. We want to speak around the demon and, well, you know, they had a rough childhood, and, you know, his mama was on drugs, and his daddy used to beat him, and, you know, his brother was a hustler, so he followed down the same path, and, you know, he never finished high school, so, you know, he don't really man, F that. Okay. You get an understanding of somebody's situation, what they've been through. My nigga, you 23 years old. You can't blame your mother and your father no more. You're a grown fucking man. You want to know what your issue is? Your issue is you want people to feel sorry for you. You want somebody to pity you and feel sad for you. You trying to get attention with all of this suicide. Nigga, go kill yourself already. Kill yourself already or get your shit together. Because you're not about to be around here getting no pity from us. We'd rather you die. If you want to kill yourself, then go die. You want to give up, you want to give your life over to Satan after everything you've been through, then go die. If you're not going to die, then you're going to do what the Lord said to do. You're not going to be in here causing no disruptions. You're not going to be in here disrespecting this place, disrespecting these people. You're going to get in line, or you're going to get the hell out of here. We throw you down the goddamn steps. Yeah, there's an elevator, but we're going to throw you down the steps. You don't get your shit together. You understand? Then you're going to stay in here and do what you're supposed to do, or you're going to go out there and die. All right, then sit down and shut your mouth. You're here to learn, take notes, find out what you need to do to get your life together. Ain't nobody going to pity you. Ain't nobody going to feel bad for you. Raise your hand here if your father wasn't there. Everybody raise their hand. Look around the room. Raise your hand if your mother was on drugs. You see all these hands raised? They ain't there doing what you're doing. What the hell is the matter with you? You better get it together. You ain't dead. You ain't in the prison. You know all the niggas that we know that we got real problems. You ain't got no problems. Get it together, you're going to die. God is going to kill you. Because that is what you deserve for sitting around here as a grown man. You want to blame somebody for something that happened to you at 5 years old. Nigga, get over it. That time is over. The time for crying and feeling bad for yourself is over. Either you're going to do what the Lord said to do or you're going to die. Which one? You can't be in here and die. You want to die, you go out there in the streets and die. You don't want to go out there, all right, well, sit down and shut your mouth. And then you keep on going. Then you cast that demon out. You understand? And it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's what needs to be done. Some of you brothers got wives who got demons that need to be cast out. Some of you have children who have demons that need to be cast out. And it's okay. You're not able to cast that demon out, bring it to the men of the Lord. Because when you're doing the work of God, there is no respecter of persons. You understand? And one thing I learned, man, in my time in the truth is some people need a father and some people need a brother. And I was raised to be a good brother. Man, I know how to be a brother. I feel bad with you, and I know how to, tell you it's going to be all right and try to encourage you and uplift you. That I ain't got no kids yet. So that father thing, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on the father thing. I got a big, I hate to say it this way, but I got a big heart, man. I feel for brothers and sisters, man. I'm always been the type of person that I am very empathetic. I look at your situation, man, see what you're going through, and I pray for them, man. The Lord be with them and help them and try to be long suffering and think of what the Lord would want to do. I guess I haven't had kids yet to where I know this motherfucker's trying me, man. I can't just, godly my way out of this thing. I've learned it a little bit being a camp leader, some of you brothers there, y'all know, man. I do my best, you know what I mean? But sometimes I recognize that I have got to be a father. You cannot, this brother doesn't need no words of encouragement and no pat on the back and it's going to be okay. Some people need rebuke. You understand? And that you learn that being a father. You learn how to rebuke. You understand what I'm saying? But that's what Christ did. He didn't speak kindly to this boy. He didn't say nothing no nice words. You heard what he said to the disciples, to the father. Oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long am I going to suffer you? This ain't a man who is happy. This ain't a man who was, okay, yeah, bring him to me. No, this is, what? Y'all, man, how long am I going to have to deal with you niggas? Y'all niggas ain't got no faith. Oh, faithless and perverse. Y'all disgusting. You talking about this boy is, you can't deal with this. Bring him here. And he checked the demon out of the cat. He checked the demon out of the boy. You understand what I'm saying? And some men need that. You understand? To put the fear of God in him. Listen, I remember I remember being young in the truth, man. I remember I first came in the truth. And, I'm coming to Bible class, right? I'm coming to study the Bible and study the scriptures. I remember my first couple times coming to class, man, they was patting us down, and I used to be like, man, what's with the aggressive pat down? Like, come on, bro, we in Bible class. Like, why y'all niggas tripping? Like, man, them early years coming in that DC school, and anybody who came through the doors of that DC school know, it was a extra, like, rough, militant vibe in that place that I could not, at first I couldn't understand it because it was so foreign to me, right? It was like, my God damn, bro. Like, why they tripping? This Bible study class. Niggas looking all through my bag, checking me all aggressive and patting my pockets and lift your pants. Like, what's that in your pocket? Like, it's my cell phone. Why these niggas tripping? Then I remember I went to my first camp and I heard them out there speaking. And I said to myself, oh, that's why they extra aggressive. That's why they ultra, militant, because that's what being a man of God is. Being a man of God is not being soft and gentle and kind. The Lord calls for men who, you understand, he can use for the fullness of his spirit to be made manifest, to be shown. That's why men like General Muhammad exist. Men like General Hazayan. Now, what I'm saying, every man in ISUPK is thorough. We all soldiers. We all train. We all will fuck you up. Excuse my language. You cross the line, you're going to get dealt with, right? But there's other men who have the presence. You know what I'm saying? I say of General Muhammad and General Haas and, Captain Laban, Captain Akkad, these are Captain Tazaryak. These are men who have the stature, the presence. You know what I'm saying? Officer Shamgar, Officer Captain Tazayawan. They are men who the Lord gave them the gift of stature, presence. They big and strong and look like they got mean faces. I don't know if I got that mean of a face. That ain't really the gift the Lord gave me, right? But they are serving a purpose for the Lord to let niggas know that we will fuck you up. Don't get out of line in here, my nigga. This ain't the place to try, nigga. This ain't the place to play with nobody. You will get dealt with in here by the hand of God, my nigga. You get out of line. You got a demon in you. That demon is getting checked at the pat down. That demon is being made known. Oh, this ain't no game. This ain't no joke. I will get stomped the fuck out in here, beat down, then tied up and wait, and the police called to wait to come get you. This ain't the place where you can go get wild and get out of control. So don't get the shit twisted. This ain't that place. We fully exhibit the spirit of the Most High everywhere we are. You understand? And I didn't understand that at first. I didn't understand why is it so aggressive, man? Why these niggas so? It's Bible study class. Why these niggas tripping? This ain't Bible study class, my nigga. This is the place where the Lord dwells. And the Lord is a man of war. You understand? The scriptures say, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am. Guess what? In them back in them days in that DC school, the Lord was gathered in there. Hell, here in this Memphis school, the Lord be gathered in here. You understand? That's why it's important brothers be in class, man. You being here when a new brother come to class, he should feel like, oh shit, these niggas they in here watching. If you in class and a new brother come to class, you sit right behind them. Sit right behind him or sit beside him. Sit where he can see you watching him and feel like, damn, they on guard. They niggas. That's why here in the Memphis school, we got the security desk is right off to the side of mine, right? Where security can sit and look at everybody. So everybody can see security looking at him, and everybody can say to themselves, if I get out of line, I gotta deal with him. And you should know that you don't want to have to deal with him. And if you got to deal with him, you got to deal with me. And you don't want to have to deal with me. But that's the spirit of the Lord. That's how Christ dealt with the demon that was in this brother. You understand? Let me keep reading. It's verse 19. Then came the disciples to Yahushua apart and said, why could not we cast him out? And Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief. You understand? Y'all didn't believe you could cast him out. You didn't believe you could deal with the demon that was in that cat. You thought he was a lost cause. You thought there wasn't nothing that could help that cat. You thought that, man, ain't no way we can help this nigga, man. He out of control. Your unbelief. You're doubting, nigga. Why are you doubting? Why are you thinking that thing in that man is stronger than what's inside of you? What's wrong with you that you think the demon in the nigga is stronger than the Lord that is in you? And that's the thing, man. In 2023, man, you in the truth, man. You walk in this world and in these streets knowing that God is greater in me than he that is in the world. I ain't got, man, listen, man. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. Niggas is dying every day. It's rough out here. Man, I walk out here with my head up. You understand? My head on the swivel, my eyes looking everywhere with not a thought of a fear in my goddamn, they don't even exist. Walking around here, I don't have a firearm. I don't own a firearm. I ain't got no gun on me. And I know niggas, everybody carrying in the city of Memphis, Tennessee. The Lord is with me, my nigga. And listen, I move accordingly. I ain't disrespecting nobody. I ain't mean mugging no niggas. I ain't bumping into nobody or, you understand? I move accordingly, but at the same time, I demand respect and I give respect. So better than nobody disrespect me, nigga. You come at me sideways, the Lord gonna deal with you. I pray for any nigga that think that they can come at me sideways. At the same time, I respect my surroundings. I'm not no goofy nigga. I ain't out here doing things to make myself a target. But I don't have the issue of unbelief. A lot of men do. Some men do. No sweat. You know what I'm saying? Lord be with them. But the disciples with this brother, they did not think they could cast this demon out. And they couldn't because of their unbelief. Reading on in Matthew 17-20. For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Christ was not speaking in parables to them. He was not saying something that sounded good. This wasn't a metaphor. If they had the faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed, you could move mountains. You understand? What I'm talking about is terraforming the planet Earth, completely reshaping the environment. If you had faith the size of the grain of a mustard seed. We read in the Bible that Christ walked on water. That in the middle of a storm, Christ, chill out, calm down. And the storm calmed the seas. This is a man who could control the weather. A man who could turn water into wine. This shit ain't magic. This isn't fairy tale. This isn't, alchemy. This is not no wizardry bullshit. This is power of God that is accessible to man, not through DMT and ayahuasca and getting high, not through being, meditating and sitting and being a monk, you understand, in some Tibetan mountain. It's in righteousness. There is power in righteousness. Not just a righteousness for man to see, not just a righteousness for people to look at and say, oh, yeah, he's righteous, but a true righteous spirit to serve God and to do good and to be honorable and to really be a vessel for him to use There are going to be men who walk the earth who tell the mountains to fall, and the mountains fall. There are going to be men who tell the storms, calm down, and the storm will stop. There will be men who say, it is not going to rain over the land of this evil kingdom until the children of God are delivered, and there will be no more rain falling. That ain't magic. It ain't fairy tales. It's men who had the power with God. And they've existed on the earth before, and they will be on the earth again. We are living in the times where those men are on the earth, and the Lord will give them that power. And that power is only going to come through righteousness. And when I tell you that that power is coming, that power is going to feed people in the time of famine. That power is going to heal the sick and the maimed in the time where the medical industry doesn't have any answers. In the days when the hospital cannot explain what this sickness is and what this illness is and where it comes from, the power of God and men who serve him are going to be healing those who have faith. But it's not magic. It don't just fall out the sky. You have to be a man who has lived a life that will honor it. A man who can acknowledge this is God's power. It's not, I'm not special, I'm not unique. I'm just a man who was given a chance to serve God, and I do that. You see what I am doing, you can do it too if you will humble yourself to the Most High, if you will serve him, if you will honor him and acknowledge him. That's what Christ is speaking of when he says, if you have faith the size of a grain of mustard seed. Matthew 17:21. Howbeit, this kind goes not out but by prayer and fasting. What comes when you pray and when you fast? When you pray and when you fast, fear goes away from you. Stress goes away from you. Anxiety goes away from you. Self-doubt goes out the window. When you step outside of yourself and you allow for the Most High to show you what is possible, then all of the carnal things about you go away. That's what fasting and praying does. When you pray and you give a situation to the Most High, when you put it in his hands, how can you stress about it or worry about it anymore? I can't. It's in the Most High's hands. I can't deal with it no more. I've already prayed. I've already given it to the Most High. I can't. What I'm worried about it for, man? It's in his hands. When you're in the midst of some hell, some demon of depression is on you, weighing on you heavy. Some thing is inside of you telling you that you ain't good enough, or that you can't do this and you can't accomplish that, and you don't deserve to have this in your life. And it's overwhelming, and it pains you, and it causes you to shut down and withdraw and seclude yourself from everybody. Man, if you can sit in that if you want to, or you can pray and give it to the Lord. You can pray and ask the Lord, man, get me out of this funk. Take this feeling away from me. I don't know why I'm sad or feeling like I didn't do something right when I know I'm doing everything right. Shake me out of this. Get me out of this. Help me see outside of what it is I'm going through right now. Once you give it to the Lord, man, it is what it is. I just got to ride the wave. I just got to get through this, man. Everything going to be all right because the Lord got me. But praying and fasting takes you out of your flesh. It takes you out of the weaknesses that exist in your body. And you cannot conquer the demon of fear, the demon of anxiety, the demon of depression, the demon of bipolar disorder, the demon of schizophrenia, the demon of alcoholism, the demon of drug addiction without fasting and praying. Pray them prayers that David prayed, man. Pray the prayers of a man who knows that he's done wrong, who knows that he's not perfect, who knows that he's not been the best. But please, Lord, don't let those who believe in you stop believing for my sake. Don't let those who wait on you be confounded for my sake. Hear my cries and see my regret, and let me repent. Give me the strength to repent. Give me the strength to turn my back on the evil that I've done. Let me make right the wrongs that I've done in my ignorance or in my weakness. You pray to the Most High, man. He'll answer you. If you're righteous, he'll hear your prayers. He'll answer your prayers. He'll give you what it is that you ask for. But you have to be prepared to accept everything that comes along with that. And that is how, in your times of war, you'll be able to seek peace. And with that, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. In the year 2023, there is nothing more important than for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is here on the earth. You brothers and sisters that's tuning into the classes, man, you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the ISUPK. We have a physical school in Memphis. The address is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. The phone number is 901-249-0085. Again, 901-249-0085. Get in contact with us here in the ISUPK, man. We provide all of the services that are necessary for the survival and the progression of God's chosen people. With that, we have classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 8. Shalom. We'll see y'all tomorrow.